You're listening to all of it on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. Money, power, corruption, sex, lawyers, whistleblowers, Michael Douglas. These are all features of a certain genre of movie that captured Hollywood from the late 80s to the early 2000s, the corporate thriller. These movies might feature a power-hungry Wall Street broker or a lawyer who might literally be in league with the devil. They have twists and turns, usually starring a dapper leading man, and they often have a show-stopping courtroom scene. You can watch many of these movies now on the Criterion Channel, thanks to their April series, Corporate Thrillers, featuring 10 different films. Joining me now to discuss some of these films is our friend of the show and of the Criterion Channel. It's Clyde Foley. Hi, Clyde.
Hi, Allison. Thanks for having me back.
So, listeners, we want to hear from you. What's your favorite corporate thriller? Our phone number is 212-433-9692, 212-433-WNYC. What do you like most about corporate thrillers when they're done well?
That's a good question. Look, I think one of the things that is an inherent feature of the corporate thriller is that they're about money, sex, and power. And I think that those end up being fairly cinematic themes to explore. So what do? You get high stakes dealings, you get intrigue, you get jockeying for power. I don't know. It's all very watchable.
And it includes suspenders. Men wearing suspenders.
Oh, big time. I mean, Wall Street has more suspenders than any other movie I've seen.
A lot of these films are from the late 80s to the early 2000s. Why do you think that particular time period produced so many of these kinds of movies?
Well, the Wall Street figure really becomes like a bigger, larger-than-life figure in the 1980s. And I think that... Sorry, I got to jumble my thoughts for a second. I think that with the premiere of Wall Street in the 80s, it really synthesizes this kind of figure. And then it translates into... Wow, I've completely lost my train of thought.
Well, you know what?
One.
We're going to play from Wall Street because this was the big movie. This was what that started it all, with Michael Douglas playing Gordon Gekko. He won an Oscar.
He did. Michael Douglas is great in this movie. And also, this is the beginning of the Michael Douglas performance, the Michael Douglas character, if you will.
Let's listen. This is his famous speech, "Greed is Good," from the movie Wall Street.
I am not a destroyer of companies. I am a liberator of them. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit. Greed in all of its forms. Greed for life, for money, for love, knowledge, has marked the upward surge of mankind, and greed, you mark my words, will not only save Teldar Paper, but that other malfunctioning corporation called the USA. Thank you very much.
We almost had me there. What do you think this captured about America in the 1980s?
Okay, well, here's the funny thing about Wall Street is that it's a movie that comes out in 1987. It comes out right around the time of Black Monday, that huge stock market crash. And it comes out around the time when a lot of people on Wall Street started getting busted for insider trading. So it's one of these things where this movie happened to be about a lot of these things. And to the point where when Wall Street comes out in 1987, they realized they needed to put a card at the beginning of the movie that said 1985. Because at this point, a lot of people were not doing the things that were being done in this movie out of fear of going to jail. So it captures that. It also just captures this frenetic, high-speed energy of working in finance at the time. And also, like, this movie never stops moving. That camera is constantly moving. It's got that great Stuart Copeland soundtrack and also all those songs from David Byrne and Brian Eno's My Life in the Bush of Ghosts. So it's just a very high-energy, propulsive film.
The next movie in the series, The Firm, from 1993. It's directed by Sidney Pollack. It stars Tom Cruise. It's adapted from a John Grisham novel. For those who might not remember what The Firm's about, can you give us the logline?
The Firm is about hotshot Harvard Law School graduate Tom Cruise basically being recruited by this elite law firm in Memphis. And he's brought in with the promise of money and power. And then he starts realizing that this firm is not all that it's cracked up to be. And in fact, it could be a front for the mob.
Here's a clip from the movie The Firm when an FBI agent explains to Mitch, played by Tom Cruise, exactly who he's working for.
Your law firm is the sole legal representative of the Moraldo crime family in Chicago, known as the Mafia, the mob.
I don't believe it.
They set up legitimate businesses with dirty money from drugs, gambling, prostitution. All cash, all moved offshore. You believe it. That's why you talk to Thomas A. Banks and the Caymans. That's why you got this private investigator asking questions that got him killed. Maybe 30% of their clients are legitimate. They bring in a new rookie, throw money at him, buy the car, the house. After a couple of years and your kids are in private schools, you're used to the good life, they tell you the truth.
That's from The Firm. What makes Tom Cruise perfect for this movie?
You know, this is sort of early in Tom Cruise's career. It's not the very beginning, but I don't think the Tom Cruise persona was fully locked in at this point.
Interesting.
Where if you watch movies like Risky Business, and especially Color of Money, where he's definitely doing the Tom Cruise thing, but he's playing it at 11. Like, it's so unmodulated, but very fun to watch. And I think that as an actor, he's maybe a little more malleable in this time period. I mean, keep in mind that Tom Cruise, who may in fact be the last movie star working today, but also has so much control over the projects that he's doing. Like, you know, he's a producer. He hasn't worked with an especially difficult director in a long time. So I think that he, at this point in his career, he kind of is like this hotshot law school grad who's capable of being put in these situations and being put in these different kinds of movies and working it.
We're talking about Corporate Thrillers, a series of 10 movies available to stream during the month of April on the Criterion Channel. My guest is video editor and curator Clyde Foley. And listeners, we're taking your calls. What's your favorite corporate thriller? Give us a call at 212-433-9692, 212-433-WNYC. Let's talk to Steve in Airmont. Hey, Steve, thanks for calling in.
Allison, thank you for taking the call. How about a movie called The International?
How about it?
Okay. Well, Naomi Watts, Clive Owen, and it just is from start to finish. It's incredible. And I didn't see it when it was in the theater. I saw it on cable, and I watched it multiple times. And I'm wondering if it made the list.
It did. It's there.
All right.
Watch it on the Criterion Channel right now.
Great. Thanks for calling in. This said, I don't believe it did as well as a film, but there was a time when nearly everybody on every subway car was reading Bonfire of the Vanities.
Oh, yeah.
This one says, The Secret of My Success by Michael J. Fox. That is from Rusty in Brooklyn calling in. Let's talk to Katie, who's also calling in from Brooklyn. Hi, Katie. Thanks for calling. All of it.
Hi, thanks so much for taking my call. I just wanted to bring up a film that I think is a Criterion favorite, maybe a bit of a stretch, but the first thing that came to mind when you described the elements of the corporate thriller, which are money, sex, and power, was actually Jacques Tati's Playtime, insofar that it sets up all of those elements in a corporate setting, for one, and completely neutralizes all of them throughout its runtime through absurdity and humor. So I don't know. I see a kernel there, and I wanted to posit it to you.
I love Playtime. It's an all-time masterpiece, and I think it's very funny, the idea of sliding that into corporate thrillers, because it's absolutely not a thriller, and you know this, but also, you know, I don't know, that's my favorite kind of programming, is kind of looking at something from this oblique angle and going, oh, yeah, that actually does work. So shout out to Jacques Tati, corporate thriller filmmaker.
Let's move on to Disclosure from 1994, directed by Barry Levinson, also starring Michael Douglas alongside Demi Moore. And it's thorny territory for 2026, a fake sexual harassment claim. How do you think this movie holds up?
I think just Disclosure holds up great.
As he crosses his arms in front of him.
Well, this is
body language, Clyde.
Such I don't know. I don't want to say this is an indefensible position, but let me stake out my claim on this hill and die on it. Let's step back for a second. What is Disclosure? Disclosure is a 1994 thriller starring my man Michael Douglas, Demi Moore, Donald Sutherland, directed by Barry Levinson, and adapted from a Michael Crichton novel. Here's some context on Disclosure. It is the year after Jurassic Park, the movie, comes out, which is one of the biggest hits of all time. And I can't say for certain what decisions were being made behind the scenes, but my impression is that basically after the success of Jurassic Park, Hollywood said, we have to adapt every single Michael Crichton novel right now. Get them out there. What do we have here? Oh, this film this book in which a man is sexually harassed by his female boss. Okay, great. Get into production. I think in a way, this film is the perfect time capsule for just describing what the sexual politics of the 1990s were. And I think it is another great entry in the body of work of Michael Douglas being someone who is anguished in dealing with sexuality in the 80s and 90s. I don't know. I think that this movie is very strange and very compelling. And it also has, without a doubt, the greatest VR sequence in any movie. It comes out of nowhere. This movie doesn't need it, but you get it.
But you get it anyway. Let's talk to Robin in Long Island City. Hi, Robin. Thanks for calling all of it.
Hi. I thought of The Player with Tim Robbins. Anything with Tim Robbins is great.
Thanks so much for calling in. Many texters are texting in Working Girl, starring Melanie Griffith.
Oh, yeah, sure. But is that a thriller? It's
I don't know.
Corporate,
it's corporate
romantic comedy?
More corporate. Swimming with Sharks. This one says Philadelphia. The stakes for Tom Hanks' character are so high.
Oh, why isn't Philadelphia in this series? That's a great question.
There you go. Maybe next time. Let's talk about a movie that I secretly love, The Devil's Advocate from 1997.
Allison, let's go. We're ready.
A young Keanu Reeves, an Al Pacino, directed by Taylor Hackford. What else could you want? You got Pacino going for it in this film.
Look, there's one thing that actors want to do above all else, and that is play Satan. All the big ones get to do it once. This is Pacino's entry. I don't know. When was the last time you watched The Devil's Advocate?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. But I do remember. I loved it. I don't remember when, but it has stuck with me. Let's listen to this particular rant from Al Pacino going on a rant about God.
He's an absentee landlord. Worship that? Never.
Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, is that it?
Why not? I'm here on the ground with my nose in it since the whole thing began. I've nurtured every sensation man has been inspired to have. I cared about what he wanted, and I never judged him. Why? Because I never rejected him. In spite of all his imperfections, I'm a fan of man. I'm a humanist. Maybe the last humanist. Who in their right mind, Kevin, could possibly deny the 20th century was entirely mine? All of it, Kevin!
You gotta love that. Come on.
Okay, so I hadn't seen Devil's Advocate since it came out in like 1997. Now, mind you, I was 11 years old when this came out. A shout out to my father, Gary Foley, for telling me to watch The Devil's Advocate. And I rewatched it this weekend in preparation for coming on here. And a couple things. One, I forgot how long it is. This thing is pushing 2.5 hours. And this scene that was just clipped is basically the last 20 minutes of the movie. I forgot the last 20 minutes is really just Al Pacino screaming at Keanu at length. Talk about unmodulated performance at 11.
Your favorite movie of the 10? What do you think?
Wall Street. Absolutely.
Let's talk to Cameron. Cameron, I think it is, in the Bronx. Hey, Cameron.
Hi.
Hi. What do you want? What movie do you like?
Oh, so it's Dark Waters by Todd Haynes, starring Mark Ruffalo.
Wait, and it's about?
Oh, it's about the DuPont poisoning of West Virginia town of the PFAS that leaks into the water. It's based on a true story.
Thank you for calling in.
I like that movie a lot, too. It took me a few years to catch up with it just because, like, I'll be honest, like a lot of courtroom dramas, it takes me a bit of time to muster up the enthusiasm to watch them sometimes because there's so many bland ones. And I remember just hearing this one was good. And it's just like, wow, Todd Haynes really knows how to make a courtroom thriller. You wouldn't expect it from him.
We've been talking about Corporate Thrillers, a series of 10 movies available to stream now during the month of April on the Criterion Channel. My guest has been curator Clyde Foley. Thank you so much for joining us, Clyde.
Thanks for having me.